Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So we're learning that a FEMA supervisor was fired for telling her employees to skip the homes of those who supposedly supported Trump. Now, this is obviously for during Hurricane Milton that happened about a month ago, and there was a lot of people talking about how during that time where FEMA wasn't really doing a good job, and there was a lot of people out there talking about maybe because it was a Trump supported area, and of course a lot of people said this was a conspiracy theory. But now we're starting to get more evidence that that might be true.
A FEMA supervisor told their employees to skip houses with yard signs in support of President-elect Donald Trump following Hurricane Milton. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Riley Phillips. That information confirmed to us by FEMA in a statement. We're also learning that supervisor has been fired. In the statement, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said this went against the agency's core values and, quote, "I want to be clear to all of my employees and the American people. This type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA, and we will hold people accountable if they violate these standards of conduct." The Office of Special Counsel is now investigating the matter. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis reacted to the news on social media, calling it targeted discrimination of Floridians who support Trump and the blatant weaponization of government by partisan activists. Also saying he directed the Florida Division of Emergency Management to investigate. And right now, we're on your side working to learn where in Florida houses were potentially skipped by FEMA employees. We'll update you as we learn more.
So of course there's going to be investigations, as there should be. And it's sad because, like, regardless of what's going on, we know we just finished the election last week, and we know how contentious it was for both sides. And of course, if you're a Trump supporter, you're happy, right? And if you're a Kamala supporter, you're not feeling too good right now. I mean, if you look across the internet, you see a bunch of supporters for Kamala getting roasted, right? They're doing reactions on people's response to losing. And Trump supporters had to deal with this 4 years ago, right? So we understand what's going on. However, when it comes to natural disasters, people struggling, we at the end of the day, we're all Americans, right? We all should be helping each other, making sure that that people are safe and doing well. But it's gotten to a point where you see, even if you're a Trump supporter, that you have your own people in government that's not helping those that support Trump, and that's never a good thing. And it's funny because I was watching a video, and the person that got fired was doing an interview on Roland Martin's show. And I wish I had a clip of it, but I'll make it nice and quick. The reason she was saying, she felt like she was being scapegoated, right? That FEMA knew about this, that they were directing a lot of their workers to do this. And a reason that she was saying why this was happening was because as these FEMA workers would canvass the house, they would go to these Trump, houses where there was Trump supporters, and they would get a lot of hostility. Like, some people would come out with guns, they would come out yelling and screaming. So a lot of these workers were afraid for their lives. So what they would do is they would say that, all right, for a lot of these homes that had Trump supporting signs, stay away from them, because they were worried for their safety. So this was the excuse that they were using to justify not going to these homes. So of course that's just an excuse, but and of course as they do investigation, they'll uncover more. But that's the excuse that they were using to avoid going to a lot of these Trump supporters' homes. So obviously that admits right there that they were obviously discriminating against Trump supporters, and that's never a good thing. So as they do investigations, we'll get more details. But like I said, at the end of the day, we're all Americans, right? And it's just so sad because if you look at both sides, right, if you're someone that's a Trump supporter, and let's say you met someone that was a supporter, a Democrat, or come out. So I've seen oftentimes where they can have the conversation. If you're a Trump supporter, you can have that conversation with somebody that's a Trump supporter. But a lot of times you'll also see that if you're a Democrat supporting Kamala Biden, and someone comes out and says that they support Trump, it just automatically dismisses the person, that you don't even want to have the conversation. And you see that a lot, that the other side doesn't want to talk to someone that's a Trump supporter. And you see that with it happening within friends and family. If you say that you support Trump, a lot of people will they'll unfriend you, they'll disown you. They don't even want to have a discussion with you. And that's sad, because that shows that you don't even want to have that conversation. Even if you disagree with somebody, you don't want to have that conversation. And how are you supposed to learn and educate yourself and understand the other person for why they decided to vote for that person if you're not even wanting to have that conversation? And you see that a lot of times. Even for myself, lucky for me, like, even when I came out and told some people that I was close to that I support Trump, luckily for me, I didn't lose any friends that I know of. And and just to have that, be able to have that conversation, even if you disagree with, is progress, right? Trying to find a way to understand each other for why we voted the way we did. And that's we need more conversations like that. But if the other side is just like, oh, you supported Trump, and it's crazy too. I was even on Facebook, and this person made a post on his page, and it was a long detailed post, and it was like basically, saying things where you assumed it was a post supporting Trump, but then after you get to the end of the post, it was something about Tom Brady, and if you look at the comments underneath, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're lucky because I was gonna unfollow you. Like we were gonna stop being friends." I'm like, that's just crazy. You've known this person for so long. You know what type of person it is, and just because they say they support Trump, you are willing to just befriend that person, and you were just willing to just dismiss that person, not be friends with that person, unfollow, like have nothing to do with that person, even though you've known that person for so many years. And it's so crazy that because I mean, obviously I have liberal friends. I have people that have support Kamala, Biden, Democrats, and I've never even thought of just stop being friends with them. But you have a lot of people on the other side that would have no problem unfriending you if you're someone that supports Trump, and that's something that just it's sad to see that, and that's where we've gotten to a point where in politics, and obviously with Trump winning for a second term. You see the way people are reacting and how much, and like I get it, it's a hurting process, right? Especially when you're told all these things about that person, that candidate, and then you lose. It hurts a little bit, even though a lot of all that stuff is a bunch of lies. But it sucks to lose, right? Nobody wants to lose, right? Especially if you're rooting for somebody as hard as you are. And you can see that you could go on social media, you can go. There's endless amount of videos about people just shocked. Right, just distraught, like them going to work and they just crying and they just don't know how to handle it, and it's crazy that it's gotten to that point. But that's just where we are right now. But however, when it comes to this disaster, when it comes to FEMA, they shouldn't be showing any political bias, right? If people are in need, people need help, they have an obligation to help the people. And just because they support Trump, you're advising people to skip over those houses. That's just not right. Like we shouldn't get to a point where, like, even though we don't share the same political beliefs, that we're not willing to help our fellow citizens, our fellow Americans. And that's just something that just can't happen. And it's sad to see this. But yeah, there's gonna be investigations. Obviously, when Trump gets in office, he needs to make sure he revamps. He needs to do whatever he needs to do to make sure FEMA gets revamped, because clearly whoever's in leadership is just not working. It can't continue the way it's going right now. And it's just unacceptable. So so those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care and have a good one. Later.